Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video. Brooklyn researches Britt Westburn's past today on General Hospital. Martin offers Tracy a deal. Drew declares war on Michael, and Joss and Vaughn are caught in Dalton's office. Jack meets Carly at the Metro Court pool. She wants to thank him for helping get Michael into the clinic in Germany. Because of him, Michael is healthy, he's back, and he has his children. She will always be grateful to him. She then surprises him with a giant, engraved wrench to commemorate their first unofficial date. Emma arrives and speaks with Gio as she watches Dalton exit the pool. She approaches her professor, and they chat. Dalton invites her to stop by his office anytime, saying he really admired her dedication in his class. After Dalton leaves, Gio asks Emma what she's doing. Emma tells Gio about her suspicions about Dalton, and she wants to shut down his animal testing. She admits to flirting with Dalton, who wouldn't be the first sleazy professor to be turned on by a student. Gio doesn't like it, but he offers to help her in any way he can. He says she had his back on the worst night of his life, so he'll always have her back. She thanks him and takes off. In Dalton's office, Vaughn, posing as a janitor, checks in with Joss. Joss has found nothing on Dalton's computer and server, so it must be on his phone. Joss insists she'll get the phone. Martin stops by the mansion to meet Tracy. He thinks she's ready to hire him to deal with Drew. She isn't paying him anything and simply wants him to give Drew a message. She says she'll give Drew the Quartermain name back if he agrees not to testify against her regarding this ketamine business. Martin tells her no deal. He wants her to arrange a press conference during which she warmly welcomes Drew back into the family. And he has even drawn up her statement. Tracy reads the statement he wrote up and laughs at it. She won't humiliate herself by reading this, but he says she should take time to think over his offer. He has no issue seeing her in prison, saying the cops alone have enough evidence to bust her. In Drew's office, Jason lashes out at him for tearing Michael's family apart and calls him poison to those kids. Jason says there will be no compromise until Willow sees that he's poison. Drew accuses Jason and everyone else of punishing Willow for not falling in line with how they wanted her to act. And Michael might have stolen those kids in court, but he won't keep them. He tells Jason that's the message he can take back to Michael. Jason says he may have destroyed Willow, but he won't get Michael's children, and he won't destroy them. Jason then storms out. At the PCPD, Anna orders Chase and Dante to follow her, and they head to the holding cells. She orders them into a cell and says they aren't going anywhere until they figure things out. She tells a cop on duty that if they start fighting, to turn the hose on them. Chase tells Dante that he hated the position he was put in, but he will always have Brook Lynn's back. Dante says, "And stab me in mine?" Chase explains that Brook Lynn didn't want him to know about their child, as he'd look for their son and disrupt his life. Dante says he can forgive teenage Brook Lynn for not telling him, but not the adult who hid the truth from him. Chase defends Brook Lynn, who was a teenager and had to make a difficult decision to give her son up so he could have a good life. Dante says Brook Lynn chose what was right for herself, not for him or his son. Dante fumes over his relationship with Gio, or lack of one. Chase says that's on him for how he reacted to Rocco's alcohol poisoning. Dante tells Chase he has no idea what it's like to be told your son is in the hospital, as he's not a father. Dante immediately regrets saying that. Chase says he's lashing out a lot lately, and if he keeps isolating himself from everyone, Gio won't reach out when he comes around. Dante realizes he did come down on Gio too hard, the only chance to get to know his son. Back at the station, Anna calls an officer who is watching a person of interest. She tells him to file a code and lists off a string of numbers. Suddenly, Jack appears and says they need to talk. They head into the interrogation room, and Jack has information on the second assassin who tried to take out Sunny and Lay. She was well known to the WSB, so 2 contracts have now been put out on Sunny. He says Sunny has run afoul of someone with very powerful and dangerous connections. Anna asks why he's suddenly willing to share this information with her now. Jack says there likely will be another attempt on Sunny, and he assumes she doesn't want to see anyone else hurt in the process like Michael was. She realizes this is about Carly. Anna thanks him and asks Jack if he looked into Professor Dalton for her. He says he did, and the guy is clean. Jack leaves, and Anna knows he just lied to her. Dalton returns to his office and drops his phone on the desk. Joss covers it with an envelope as Dalton checks in with Joss and says he's going to head to the lab. Joss asks if she can see the lab. He tells her she will see it eventually, and there is no need to rush that part. Dalton leaves, and Vaughn radios Joss that she's clear. Joss then hacks Dalton's phone. Dalton quickly returns, tells her something has come up, and asks if she's seen his phone. Dalton finds it under some files, and he asks Joss to clean up his desk so this doesn't happen again. He then races off. Martin arrives to see Drew, who tells the lawyer about his talk to Jason. It made Drew realize that leaving Willow would be a mistake. He is going to help her fight back and win. Drew declares war and vows to get those kids back by using every weapon in Martin's arsenal. Jason heads to the Metro Court pool to see Carly, and they discuss the Drew and Willow situation. Carly thinks it's over, but Jason says it's not, and Drew is never going to give up on getting those kids. At Maxie's, Lulu tells Brook Lynn she doesn't owe her anything, much less an apology. Maxie realizes this was a mistake. Brook Lynn rants that nothing is ever Lulu's fault, even when she's wrecking other people's lives on purpose. Lulu counters that the only thing destroying people's lives is her lies. Lulu yells that Dante and Gio deserved to know the truth. Brook Lynn argues back that since she woke up from her catnap, she's been finding ways to tear her down. Lulu says there was no master plan to punish her, and Dante and Rocco deserved the chance to get to know Gio. She says the only mistake she made was not going to Dante with the truth sooner. Brook Lynn cries that it wasn't her call to make. Lulu accuses Brook Lynn of choosing to lie again and again to everyone around her, so she won't lose sleep over exposing her lies. Brook Lynn cries how it tore her up to give up her baby, and she only wanted him to have a better life. Lulu gets that, and she would do anything for her children, but she doesn't lie to them. She tells Brook Lynn that she and her mother's lies destroyed Gio's life, so it's no wonder he wants nothing to do with her. Brook Lynn slaps Lulu, surprising even Maxie, and leaving Lulu furious. Maxie jumps in between them and says they took this too far. Maxie tells Brook Lynn to go home. She says gladly, but Lulu warns that she will pay for coming after her son. Brook Lynn leaves, and Lulu screams about being slapped, and how she would have taken BL Key down if not for Maxie. Maxie tells her friend that Brook Lynn shouldn't have slapped her, but she took it too far. She hurt Brook Lynn's child and has to own that. Brook Lynn heads home and meets with Marco, who is waiting at the mansion for her. She asks if he did the research she asked for. He did, and has a file for her, but wonders why she's interested in a dead woman. At the station, Anna gets a call and is told her person of interest is here. She thanks them and says she'll handle them. She heads out and sees Professor Dalton, who somehow got his car booted. She offers to help him with the situation. In Dalton's office, Vaughn checks in with Joss, who got everything copied off Dalton's phone in time. Suddenly, Emma appears, and Vaughn grabs and kisses Joss. In Drew's office, Martin tells Drew there is one way to fight back, though it's risky and its potential for damage is unlimited. Martin notes would never do it again if it were up to him. At the pool, Carly tells Jason that Drew will never get near her grandchildren again. She will do whatever it takes to stop him. Nearby, just then, Lulu arrives and tells Gio that she owes him a big apology. In their cell, Dante and Chase agree to put personal stuff aside and work together going forward. At home, Brook Lynn tells Marto that this woman played a big part in Lulu's life and impacted Lulu's family, and she is the key to proving Lulu isn't half the mother she claims to be. She opens the file, and there is a photo of Britt inside. On the next General Hospital, that they forget who is in charge. Curtis tells Michael that Drew is blackmailing his wife. Brook Lynn tells Marco that Lulu deserves a taste of her own medicine. Gio lets Lulu know that nothing she says will change his mind. In Dalton's office, Vaughn hopes Emma won't rat him and Joss out. Dante tells his father that he's worried about him. Holding her baby in the hospital, Sasha asks Carly, "What have you done with her?"